Well, welcome back to another episode of the Cruise Conversations podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Frank.
And today's episode is episode number 49. And we're going to be talking about our 2024 guide to have a perfect day at Coco Cay. Let's jump into it.
Hey, so we're back. We're super excited to be back. This is one of our first episodes on YouTube, right? So Shout out to all of our YouTube streamers, a little different. So excited to kind of see, maybe YouTube will be taking the number one platform here soon. Who knows? But excited to be here this week. Excited to talk about Coco Cay. This was actually a request from a client of ours. We've been booking a lot of cruises. So if you're booking cruises on Celebrity or Royal Caribbean, there's a really good chance now that you're going to Coco Cay. Yeah. And one of the first things you ask your travel agent or you call Royal Caribbean or put on Facebook is, what do I do when I get to Coco Cay? What do I do? What do I pay for? What are your recommendations? So we're going to kind of walk through just our guide as it stands today. Obviously, we put 2024 in the title just because it's probably going to change, right? Like if you look at what it was last year compared to what it is today, you've got a whole new area that we're going to talk about. You've got a lot of new things going on. So I'm sure it will continue to evolve. But before we get into that, we got our question of the week.
We do.
What's our question of the week?
So our question of the week, staying on topic of private islands, what was the name of the first ever private island? And what cruise line was it by?
I'm going to just go ahead and say there's absolutely no way someone, if you know this, drop us at the end of the episode, a message or something just to say, maybe we'll give you something. But that's crazy if someone actually knows this. The year, maybe if you get it within a couple years, because I feel like a year is pretty precise. But awesome. Well, like we said, this was a listener request. So shout out Donna. Thank you for being a client and obviously giving us a request as we talk about Coco Cay and recommendations for Coco Cay. If you have a request for an episode of this podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So shoot us a DM, drop us a message on Instagram, Facebook, leave us a comment on YouTube. But yeah, we're going to talk about one of our favorite ports. I mean, honestly, it's not even just favorite ports in general. Favorite private islands. It's probably one of my favorite ports, out of all of the destinations I've been to. It's awesome. Coco Cay is just, it's a great time. I mean, you can go there. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but you can go there, do a bunch of things. You can do water parks and all that, or you could just have a relaxing day that doesn't cost you anything else,
And I feel like that is kind of one of the big things, right? You see the commercials and the promotions, and it's all the high energy stuff, the zip lines, the water parks. And I think you have some people who, they see Coco Cay and they're like, well, can you actually just go and relax? Because, some of these other private islands out there may not be much to it, or even what Coco Cay was before they did the big renovation years ago and added a lot of the new stuff here. So, yeah, super excited to go through this. Obviously, I think I would say you're a good Coco Cay expert at the end of the day. I mean, I've only been twice.
Yeah.
I've only done, I think, maybe 3 of the areas we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So I know, even me, there's still a lot I haven't even seen on this island yet that I know's out there. And, it kind of is the tricky thing, right? Most cruises, you're only there once, right? It's one stop, you're there for the day, and there's so much it's hard to fit all in a day. Kind of like a cruise,
Yeah.
We say, especially like the Oasis class, Icon class, it's hard to do everything on the ship in a week. Coco Cay is going to be the same way. So I think as we go through these areas, you kind of want to just figure out what's going to work best for you, kind of area-wise, and then kind of do that for the day. And
that, you make a good point. I've been there so many times. I think I'm going 4 times this year.
Okay.
I haven't even told Scotty yet, but I'm booking us another Utopia for my birthday. So we're going to do Disney and then Utopia for my birthday. So that
you're doing 2 Utopias this year.
Yeah, 2 Utopias. So we're going to really get some good content. Hopefully get to see everything after 6 days total, 2 cruises.
Well, look at that podcast. Y'all are hearing this first.
First one. I don't even think my wife knows. But no, really looking forward to that. But to your point, I think I'm a creature of habit, right? So you find something that works and you find your spots, and we'll talk about that as we go through these areas and things to do. But you find the things that you like, and then you're like, man, I haven't been to Coco Cay in 4 months or whatever, a year. I really want to go back to that because it was so great. I had a really relaxing time, or really liked the water park, want to do it again. So you kind of, sometimes you want to try everything, but then you're to your point, I only get one day here. It's not like I'm on a cruise ship. I have to choose between 10 areas and just make the most of one day. And some people may try to walk around and do other things. We said we were going to walk around when we did the Hideaway beach and maybe see. I was like, guys, you've never been to Coco Cay before. You got to go and like see some other parts of the island. I don't think anyone did that. I think everyone.
I feel like once you get like settled down and you get all your stuff dropped off at your chair,
Yeah.
you really don't want to pick it up and go. Because especially Hideaway Beach Club, I mean, you have to enter and
It's far.
exit. Yeah. And it's a good walk to everything else. But I mean, I'm kind of the same way too. Like I go to a restaurant and the menu's so big and I'll get something once, I'll like it, and then I'll just get that every time. So I feel like if you were to ask me right now, what would be the next time you go to Coco Cay, what would you do? And I'd probably say take Tara to Hideaway Beach Club because, like you said, that's what we did last. We had a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's jump into this, Frank.
So in terms of breaking down this episode, right? So we're going to talk through, today, what are the different areas, right? What are the key highlights in terms of these are the spots? Then we'll talk through some of the food options.
Yep.
And then we'll talk through some activities that we recommend and just different things that we hear that you can do around the island as well, right? So we haven't done all of the different things. There's so many. You could probably go every time and do something different, but we'll talk about different activities and things to do. But kind of starting off, one of my favorite spots, Chill Island.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you mentioned the advertisements on TV. It's all about water park and zip line and all that, but like Chill Island is pretty much where I've gone almost every time besides the Hideaway. So when we talk about the island, you can go on Royal Caribbean's website and pull up a map. But if you don't do that, this little spot is sort of by the Oasis Lagoon area, right? So what I really like about Chill Island is you've got a bunch of bars. There's at least a few bars, maybe 2 or 3 bars. Then you've got some games, kind of. You got like a larger kind of soccer pool setup. You got like Connect 4 and different games and stuff that are like beach games. You obviously got your chairs, and then you're like an easy walk to Oasis Lagoon, which I really like. It's just like an easy spot, right? Versus, maybe you're in South Beach, maybe it's a little bit further, or I don't know. And you can hear some of the music that's going on around the pool as well, but it's not super quiet, but it's not like raging like the pool, so you can kind of get both feels within one day. Because me personally, I do like, if I'm not going to spend any money, I do like to go to Oasis Lagoon. So I'll kind of bounce between those 2 spots. And I feel like I've taken you here, right? So kind of where the overwater cabanas are, we kind of hang out right there. There's, not any waves. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, Frank, I think the first time I was at Coco Cay with you, we went to Breezy Bay at Chill Island, which is kind of like its own little part, like you said, kind of with the overwater bungalows. And I think that was my favorite part about being there that day is, like you said, you had a bar right there. The pool wasn't that far away. The buffet was close by. I think you had a snack shack right there.
Shacks.
Yeah, with the mozzarella sticks and
we got
cakes.
that.
And we'll get all that later. Yeah. We'll get to the food later. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. And so, I mean, this is pretty much, if you're looking at the island, the left of the island up to the top with Breezy Bay. Chill Island, Breezy Bay. And so, like I said, the funny thing is I've been there and I've been to the bottom right. And that's it.
You've not been to Oasis Lagoon?
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. I've been to Oasis Lagoon too. Yeah, so I think Oasis Lagoon is probably the next area to talk about on the island. Oasis Lagoon is the largest in the Caribbean freshwater swimming pool.
Dude, it's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, like it takes a minute to go all the way around the whole thing. You have to go underneath the bridge. Like there's islands with like plants and trees. Like it's that big.
Yeah, I mean, you got swim up bar there, which is a great size. If you have a drink package, it's probably where you're going to be.
And this used to be like the DJ was blasted music. It used to be like the party area, right? So they moved that kind of vibe towards Hideaway. Still now, you still have the swim up bar and they have music and stuff, but it's not like what it used to be. Like they're really trying to get this to be kind of like the family friendly. Yeah, family friendly area that it really should be, right? Because back then, I think my mom said it best when she was on the podcast. You had the conga line and you had the kids like with their floaties on, like trying to dodge the conga line.
Yeah.
But it was always a good time, but now, they kind of separated that. But to your point, massive summit bar and really nice like in-water lounges. And also you've got a bunch of seating just around the pool in terms of chairs as well. So if you are in the pool vibe, if you're like already have beach days planned, this is probably your free kind of spot to hang out and enjoy.
And like we said, the nice thing with Chill Island being so close too is you can go back and forth between beach and pool. I think that's what we did. I think we started at the beach, went to the pool a little, went back to the beach.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you have the option to bounce around to these different areas. All right, the next area, Frank. I mean, we talked about advertisements and all that. I mean, the first thing when the ship pulls up that morning, you look out the window.
Wait, what about the Coco Cay song?
Okay, you're gonna wake up to the perfect day.
We don't want this to get copyrighted, so we won't sing the whole song because it'll sound just like the. They still wake people up with that song.
I know, it's great.
On
it's
our freedom.
on brand.
Yeah.
But when you look out the ship, you're gonna see this massive
structure. Yeah.
water slide tower structure, right? Tell us. So this is Thrill Island. I have yet to do Thrill Island. It looks like a blast. We talked about maybe doing it for the Bachelor. Well, I've only been twice, Frank.
I know. So this is like your next trip. You have to get.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll have to do Thrill Island.
I think there's like 9 or 10 slides.
Yep.
Which span across like, mat slides, drop slides. They even have one that's like the people on YouTube watching. It's like just a basic like drop, but like it's what I mean. But it's still scary because it like kind of
some you like hit the wave, right? Like the little wall thing. And come back.
The family raft one. Those are really good. And then obviously, one of the tallest slide. It used to be the tallest slide in North America. Now there's another one, but it's really tall, and you feel it when you're walking up all those stairs. You're like, dude, this is so tall, but it's a good time. I think it's one of those things like you do the water park. Honestly, I don't even know how much water parks. I don't live in Florida, but you do pay like 60. I would say between 60 and 100. It depends. Is there one ship in port? Is there two? Is it two Oasis class? Because it's all supply and demand. So if you're going and you only have one ship in port, it may be a good day to really make the most of the water slides. Like Mitchell was on a few weeks back. If you didn't hear Mitchell's episode, he and his wife Megan did Thrill Island on their cruise, and they said they did each water slide like 10 times. Like I think he said more than that, but we'll just say 10. I mean, he said he did like everything, and he had pretty much the whole day just to enjoy it. So outside of the water slides, you have your wave pool. You also have zip lining. You also have food that's just inside. So you got bars and you've got snack shacks and stuff within Thrill Island cabanas that you can rent that come with the passes. So if you're doing the math on a larger group, it may be worth it to do the Thrill Island cabanas as well. So it's a really good time. Again, for me, not something I'm doing every time, but maybe at least once this year I'll convince. Maybe I'll get Scotty to do it. It's just hard because there's so many things, right? Like there's so many things to do. We're going to talk about more, but it's like, do I do the water park or do I go relax? It's a hard decision.
Yeah. And I could just imagine how long it takes to get at the top of that tallest slide.
Yeah.
Because I know you used to have a Whitewater Center pass here years back. Here in Charlotte, we have the National Whitewater Center, right? And I actually had a team offsite there a couple weeks ago, and we did the zip lines there. And I think the thing was like 10 stories to get to the top. And you have 2 sets of zip lines off of it, and now they strap you and you like just step off.
You
and
just
it's like
fall.
a free fall, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But after going up that tower twice just to do the zip lines, I was like, so I was like, I can just imagine that tall one being a one and done for the day.
You're just so many stairs, but it's a great time.
And then right outside of Thrill Island, Frank, you have Splashaway Bay and Captain Jill's Galleon, which these are 2 water areas for your kids to play around in. Like I said, they're outside of Thrill Island, so you're not paying. It's completely free. And I think it's just, like we said, another good area really to get your kids' energy out. Let them run around, do the little slides, play with the water.
I mean, if they're little kids, like that's their spot. They're probably not going to be doing the water slides, right? So they can go and do that for free, like you said. Yeah. That's going to entertain them until lunch, at least. I mean, until they're ready to eat, and then maybe after that. But I would be hanging out there with my kids. We always walk by, and I'm like, dang, that is like a really big like area for kids. Like, it's not like a Splashaway Bay like they have them on the cruise, right? But this is like a much bigger spot, and we always walk by, and we're like, man, if only we were like we had kids, or we like could get by just to hang out in there, because it was like we're walking by, we're like, this is so cool. If you're that age, you're gonna absolutely love the Splashaway Bay here. So it's something that if you have kids that age, it's a must not miss. They're gonna be mad at you if you walk by and don't let them go hang out in Splashaway Bay. So there's a bunch of beaches. The next one that we wanted to kind of talk about was South Beach. So South Beach, when I think of South Beach, I think of like party vibes, because South Beach, Miami, and that's just like, oh, you go and party it up in South Beach, right? Like it's just kind of a thing. But South Beach on Coco Cay is still sort of relaxing vibes, right? Like you may have, I still think there's a lot of kids running around. Like it's not like an adults only area by any means. The cool thing here is that you do have a swim up bar. So you actually have to like swim out, kind of like you're in one of the Caribbean islands where you Soggy Dollar. That's what it is. Soggy Dollar, where you like
Okay.
jump off the boat and then you swim to the bar,
Yeah.
and it's called Soggy Dollar because your dollars get soggy. This is like kind of like that, where you swim out to the water. You have to like climb onto the bar, grab a drink, and then you can either drink it there or you can drink it in the water. But anyways, it's a really fun time. We did this on my birthday cruise with everyone, and again, just a really good beach, lots of space here. And what's cool is they have those kind of like tables in the water that you can like beside like kind of inland, right? So more towards the beach, they've got the tables where you can like sit your drink and like kind of just float around while you're in the ocean as well. So I really like South Beach.
That must be a fun bar to bartend, having to get all the liquor and mixers and everything out there.
I think they use jet skis, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then it must just be a fun one to just serve at, too. Like you said, out there in the water,
it's not
people
big.
coming to you.
It's pretty small. I mean, it's probably...
Like 10 people?
I mean, it's much smaller than this room that we're in right now. So I would imagine probably, 10, 15 max that can actually fit on there. And then at some point you're kind of waiting. You're like floating in the water, waiting for someone to come off, and then you can go back and get your drink. But a really cool spot. Again, just a beach that you can hang out for the day. You got snack shacks and things right around there.
And then going off of South Beach, one beach that, we were looking at a map to prepare for this episode that I didn't even know existed is the Cove Beach, they call it. And this is, if you're looking at a map of Coco Cay, to the right of South Beach, kind of tucked away right towards the end. So honestly, it looks like it's probably the most secluded beach on the island if you head that way.
Probably one of the most furthest away from
anything really,
yeah. I think my mom actually, when she was on the podcast, talked about doing the day beds with Dad, and it looks like, based on the way that she described it, she was down that way on the Cove Beach side of things. But kind of like, she's like, well, we did South Beach, but she was like, there was like, we were all the way at the end, like it was very quiet. So I think she ended up being down there. So yeah, I would love to check it out. I think if you're going to do a day bed, she said South Beach was the way to go. It was awesome. So
nice.
Cool.
And then the last beach we have is the Harbor Beach, which this one's kind of inland, right, Frank? So it's kind of to the left of the island. And the nice part here, the water, it's not directly off the ocean, right? The water probably comes in a little inlet, and then the water's kind of right there. You have the beach area with your chairs, and this is probably a good one for kids because it's not like waves are coming in and splashing here. It's real calm,
pretty relaxing.
Yeah. Have you ever hung out here for a day?
I've never hung out here, but I do see like there's a lot more families around this area, and it's awesome for kids because you don't have to walk super far, right? It's like pretty close and centrally located to the food.
Yeah.
You can get back to the ship pretty quickly. And to your point, not a lot of waves, pretty easy in terms of swimming and everything like that. So I've not spent too much time here. I always kind of walk by to get back onto the ship, but Harbor Beach could be a good spot for you to hang out. So all of those things that we just talked about besides Thrill Island are free areas, right?
Yeah.
So Thrill Island, obviously you pay the extra cost, but let's jump into a couple other beach options for the day that do have an upcharge. We'll start with Hideaway Beach. We just both enjoyed Hideaway Beach. This is an area that's adults only. So if you don't have kids, or you're going to leave your kids on the ship or with grandma and grandpa, whatever your setup is, this may be for you. But the biggest selling point for Hideaway Beach for me is probably the pool. The large heated pool that looks right over the ocean, kind of an infinity pool. It looks over the lagoon. I thought it was great. I thought what was the best part about it was you had the tables in the pool that you could just grab your drink, and it was a huge, like, Oasis Lagoon is big, but the tables here are just like, the swim up bar area here is just massive. So we never waited for any lines. There was no line ever to grab a drink or anything. So really nice day. DJ, I think the downsides of the pros is the big pool, the adults only aspect. You have some new food options, right? The empanadas, the pizza, which I thought were all pretty good.
Fried shrimp, ceviche.
The ceviche was, dude, that was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah, and like you said, pool area, great. You had the DJ going all day. I feel like that may be a little bit of a turnoff for me. When I say the music was pumping everywhere, it was pumping everywhere in Hideaway Beach. So around the pool, the pathways to the different restaurants, up to on the rocks, but the beach area too. Yeah. Which, I'm all for a good time. I loved it. If there's anything I would do is just turn the music down at the beach just a little. Because if I'm out at the pool was definitely the party area for the day, right? People were partying, having drinks up there, having a good time. Anybody that was down at the beach, it's not like they were in the water
Dancing.
fist bumping, dancing, conga lining there either. No. So I feel like just turn the music down a little at the beach,
Yeah.
and it'd be the perfect at the end
I
of the
agree.
day.
I think Royal Caribbean is trying to be like the hip new like cruise line in a way. Like I love the things that they're doing for people our age group, but it's like almost like they're trying too hard in some areas. And I think this is the main one, right? Like I'm excited to see on Icon in September how Hideaway, the pool is on the back and how it feels with the music.
Yeah.
I've seen that's pretty loud as well. But this is just like to your point, like the beach. Okay, like calm it down on the beach, keep it going on the pool because you're in the pool and you got music.
And that's
and
where the DJ is.
yeah, and he's right there. But like when you're at the snack shack, you don't want the conga line coming that way. So we're all about the conga line. There's not even but to your point. And then on the rocks, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
That was
Our favorite, I think.
I think that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the best part about it, it's hard to describe, is the music was awesome. Like it was live, like not just one person playing guitar, but you've got, a full band out there playing music. Really awesome. And then you have pool tables, you have the shuffleboard, and a beautiful view.
Great bartenders. Yeah. Great view of the ship off to the side, and even a great view of the beach area too.
Yeah. You're kind of perched up a little bit.
Yeah. Like I said, definitely an area to spend. Like if you're going to Hideaway Beach Club, it could be, especially if you take the shuttle. There's two entrances to the Hideaway Beach Club, right? One of them is kind of there near on the rocks. The main one where the shuttle drops off isn't. And I feel like you could miss on the rocks if you're not looking for it. If you're kind of just going in and kind of spending time in the pool area, it is tucked all the way off to the one side of Hideaway Beach. So definitely make time to go wander up that way. I mean, like I said, it was my favorite part of the day. We were up there a couple hours, I think. We kind of went back and forth.
And then at one point, we're like, "Where's Joe?" And he was like sleeping on the hammock right outside of, because probably was just trying to find a quieter spot, and that wasn't too loud over there. But
that's the thing. It probably was one of the quiet, especially when the band would take breaks. Because I think one time too, I got out there on a chair because when they say this thing's on the rocks, it's kind of right there, on the rocks over the ocean, and I just got in the chair too and
just
passed out. Dozed off for
because it is hard
5,
to sleep
10.
on the beach, like when the music's blasting or it's like So I don't know. I thought it was great. I think if you're gonna go for like a bachelor party or bachelorette party or college buddies, whatever it is, like this is the spot. I think they have some work to do here. I think they need to let's leave some survey. Like if you're going to Hideaway, put it in the cruise survey. Like maybe at some point they'll like tone it back a little bit, especially hearing from people like us. Like this isn't what we're necessarily looking for in terms of, hey, we like the DJ, we just want it less like by the beach and everything.
Yeah.
And I think the price is actually fair.
That's what I was about to say. Let's talk price here, Frank, because I think we got it real cheap for our sailing.
It was either like 20 or like maybe it's even a little less.
Yeah, like $17, $18. And I think we've heard it's gone up to 70, 80, right?
I
Or
feel like
even
that
higher?
was more like on Icon, like
Okay.
when Icon was like going there and maybe when it was like one of the early on sailings.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's now like around 50 to 60 is like a higher price. And then I've seen everything below. Like when I'm looking at on Utopia, it's in the 30s, 40s.
Yeah, that ain't bad at all.
No.
I don't think.
I think it's a great price. So definitely check it out if what we're saying interests you in terms of, how you could spend your day at Coco Cay. Check out Hideaway Beach.
Now, moving on from Hideaway Beach, let's talk about the first exclusive beach club this island had, Coco Beach Club.
Yeah.
Now, I know you spent time here too, right?
Yeah, I think I spent my first time, I think I've only been here once actually, but
Okay.
This was my mom on a casino cruise. We went on a cruise together with some of her friends and they brought me along, which was awesome. And we did Coco Beach Club and it was a great time. I will say it's expensive right now. It's probably it's over $100. So when you compare it to Hideaway, it's a bit different. So it's probably between $100 and $200, just depending on the demand. They sell out. So they don't it's not open to anyone that wants to go, right? It's the nice thing about it is it's not packed. It's really kind of like you walk in and the craziest thing is you feel like you're like in the jungle. When I tell you you're covered by greenery and it's just like
So cool.
so beautiful, so beautiful. The bathrooms, everything is like really well done. Definitely just like a step up in terms of just the nicest. Like if you're trying to splurge, this is where you want to splurge. I will say that the lunch is definitely elevated. You're paying for that, obviously, is, steak and lobster and salads and anything like that. If you're trying to really do the math, like if you're not going to eat the lobster and the steak, probably you're not going to break even in your head, because that is a big part of it, right? Is the lunch. Then you've got the heated infinity pool, and you've got the, obviously the beach. But I mean, nothing bad to say about this place, just that it can be a little expensive, right? It's limited spots. Like I said, there's not they don't sell a ton of those passes. They kind of keep it, smaller. And if you're going with like a more romantic vibe, this is going to be a really nice spot for you.
Yeah. And probably the only other thing to point out, I don't know if we mentioned, this one kids can go to, right? So
Yes.
Hideaway Beach Club is adults only. Coco Beach Club isn't. But like we said, when you're looking at the price, when you have little kids, it's probably not going to make as much sense to bring them
Kids wouldn't
here.
really have fun here, honestly.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. You got to look at it pretty much as a specialty dining lunch, because that's what it is. Specialty dining lunch, and then an exclusive kind of pool
And they give you like
area.
some nice things, like, right, like if you want like the mats, they have like mats for you. They have towels already, so you don't have to worry about towels. So like
Nice.
there's some like perks about that. But yeah, to your point, like kids probably, one, if you're going to pay for this, like your kids may be a little bored, but just kind of your choice, what you want to do for the day. If you are looking to splurge, check out Coco Beach Club, because you're not going to regret that day, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps up all the main areas of Coco Cay, right, Frank?
I think in terms of the the spots, the beaches, the main, I don't want to say neighborhoods, but the areas of the island, that's pretty much it, right? So let's kind of talk a little bit about food.
Yeah. I mean, there are great food all around this island. And the great thing is it's all included. Some private islands you go to, you have to pay for food. You got to pay for your drinks. Here on Coco Cay, it is all included. So we already mentioned the snack shacks around the island, right?
Yeah, we
And
love the snacks.
These are more than just little snacks, right? I mean, you can get meals. I mean they
most
got
of the time I
burgers,
just
chicken
eat,
sandwiches, fries.
Yeah, most of the time we just eat there. I don't go anywhere else. Like if I'm not paying anything, I'll go there and get the chicken sandwich, to your point, or fries, or
Mozzarella sticks, salads.
Yeah.
You said Scotty likes the Greek salad there, right?
Yeah, the Greek salad, she loves it. It's really good, just fresh veggies. They have a bunch of options. I mean, it's tough to go wrong. I think they have hot dogs, hamburgers. I mean, anything that you would get at like amusement park type food is there.
Deep fried Oreos, or am I making that up?
I think you might be making that up.
Funnel cake. Funnel cake.
Funnel
for sure.
cake, yeah, funnel cake.
Yeah, so I mean, the snack shacks are really all around the island. And like we said, so Hideaway Beach Club, their snack shack does have some of those extra options we already mentioned. So the ceviche, the fried shrimp, I think more advanced chicken sandwich, right?
Yep. Fish sandwich, I believe, as well.
Okay, yep, the fish. So, I mean, most of the times, the nice thing, like I said here, they're all over the place. So you don't have to go far to get to these. All right, Frank, so outside of the snack shacks now, what can you tell us about some of the different grills found around the island?
Yeah, so historically, right, like if you go to Labadee, if you go to if you were going to Coco Cay before, all they had was like barbecue, right? So barbecue chicken, potato salad, all that stuff. But they've really stepped up their game in terms of the free food, like we already mentioned with the snack shack, right?
Yep.
The Chill Grill is kind of focused on, it's really in the Chill Island area, right? So kind of towards the restrooms and the bars over there. And then you got Skipper's Grill, which is over near kind of like the Oasis Lagoon area. So they're actually fairly close, walking distance from each other. And they serve pretty similar options, right? So you have the barbecue stuff, the salads, they have the taco, build your own tacos.
Those are good. I had that.
It's really good. I would say it's probably even a step up from what you get on the ship. So totally worth checking out those options there. But between the Chill Grill, Skipper's Grill, Snack Shack, you should totally find something that you like between those. If you want the buffet vibe, or if you want just kind of the made to order Snack Shack, those are great options. And then you also have Captain Jack's, which is a really cool bar. You kind of see this more when you're coming onto the island or you're leaving. Like a lot of people forget about it, and then you hear the guy playing guitar and they're like, oh, I'm going to check that out next time. But there's like these really cool kind of rope swings that you can sit on, and then they've got live music out there. They've got, wings. These do cost extra, so this is the only food that you can kind of see if you're not if you're not a Coco Beach Club or Hideaway Beach that you actually do have to pay for.
Gotcha.
It's just wings and fries. Kind of think of Playmakers kind of thing. That's kind of a good comparison. But the bar is free, and just to listen to music, honestly, is probably what most people are using it for.
How would you say like the overall vibe of Captain Jack's compares to like On the Rocks? So I know you said both have live music. Is it similar? Is it different?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar. I would say that the Captain jacks is just a guitar. So it's just one
Gotcha.
person, either a guy or a girl playing guitar. On the rocks is, I mean,
Like we said, it's like a 3-4 piece.
you had
band.
one person just singing, and then you had someone playing like the drums, and you had someone
saxophone. I think right. Yeah.
Saxophone was just majestic. I mean, crazy good. So that, I mean, between those, I think I would have to lean on the rocks in terms of what's better. But I think the Captain Jack's is still, if you're not going to pay anything extra and you want some live music,
Yeah.
it's nice that they have it. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice that they have it. So
I agree. Well, I think that wraps up food, right?
yeah, I think that wraps up the food. Like we mentioned, the other spots have their own menus. Hideaway Beach has the pizza and everything, and then Cocoa Beach Club has its own kind of set menu that you can find online as well. But let's talk a little bit about things to do, right?
Yeah.
I think we kind of sprinkled some of this in terms of, you know, if you're going to go to Thrill Island, you have the options with the water park, the zip line, the wave pool. But what about excursions, right? So there are excursions that you can do. You can do kayaking. You can do some boat tours. We actually have a friend doing like swimming with the pigs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different options that you can run. Jet skis. You know, they actually have a helium balloon. Now, I have rarely, I don't think
see this thing going.
I think I've maybe only been there one time out of like 6 or 7 times where it's actually flying with people in it, but
Yeah.
it's usually too windy.
Yeah. I mean, so it's called Up, Up and Away.
Yep.
It's like
It's
you
one
said,
of
it's
those
this
concepts.
big helium balloon that, I mean, it's tethered to the ground.
Yep.
And I think it's supposed to go a couple 100 feet in the air, I think. And then I think they say on days where it's a little windy, they don't put it up all the way. But
Yeah.
like you said, most of the time, both times I've been there, this
It's
thing's
too
been on
windy,
the ground.
yeah.
Which, like you said, sounds like a great concept because, man, who wouldn't want to go see the wonderful Caribbean from super high up in the air? But also,
Dude,
you're out there.
It's one of those things I
Yeah.
think someone like designed on paper and they're like, this is the coolest thing. And then they put it on Coco Cay and they're like, dang it, we forgot about the wind, you know, like we forgot that that's also Mother Nature's going to do whatever it wants. But
yeah.
I mean, outside of that, you got snorkeling, right? So there are fish. I've actually seen some small little reef sharks and stuff that you can see from the slides as people are like swimming. They don't mess with you. Like I've never really seen anything like, you know, anyone get like eaten by a shark or bit by a shark at Coco Cay, but they're definitely just hanging out and you can go and see some of the wildlife. And, you know, you could either bring your own snorkel gear and jump around and kind of do some of the spots. But for the most part, you can really just have a great day at Coco Cay just by relaxing.
And then, Frank, I know you mentioned the zip lines. I know I haven't done them there yet. I was reading a little bit about them. I guess it's 3 different lines you do, and it says it takes about 45 minutes. So, I mean, if you want to go do zip lining over the island, have you heard like any like reviews on this? I feel like they're not.
No,
it's not like you're going through the jungle or like.
I've not heard like anything like great in terms of the zip line. You know, the zip line at Labadee is insane. So whenever Labadee opens again, if you go to Labadee, that's worth it. But this, I've heard mixed reviews. I'm going to be honest. This is our podcast. I'm not going to hype it up if it's not worth it. If someone was asking me, I would say probably just save the zip lining for when you get to you know, Roatan or, you know, if you're going to Mexico. But, you know, for me, I would say I've read some things, so maybe for younger kids, it'd be really cool.
And then kind of lastly, some of the amenities around the island, right? So you have cabanas just about everywhere on the island and all different sizes, right? You got some smaller ones, you got some bigger cabanas, you got some overwater cabanas that always look sick.
We should have done
like
that.
Water slides off of them, right? Like a little slide into the water. You get like a butler for the day, right? Who goes on his little tricycle to go get your food.
Brings you food and lobster, and you can eat it from your cabana, which is drinks.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I've not actually done it. Mom has been on and raved about it, and friends, Megan has actually done it as well. But it looks like a great time. That'll be something that we do at some point. Other than cabanas, you've got the day beds we talked about. You can rent snorkel gear. You can rent like mats and things to enjoy in the ocean. Another really cool amenity that they have on the island is the tram service. I think we may have mentioned that a little bit with Hideaway because you're going to want to use it for Hideaway Beach. 100%. It's way... I mean, I was crippled last time I went, so I was not really able to walk. But there's absolutely no way you're walking that, especially after you have a couple of drinks.
You want to know what's funny, Frank?
Tell me.
When I was looking at the map earlier, their newer updated maps have each location and how many minutes it is from the arrival port.
What does it say?
Hideaway was one of the smallest, 5 minutes.
Dude, it felt like we were in that tram for 5 minutes,
yeah.
at least 5 minutes. I don't know. We were looking at the trail as we were driving, and I was like, this is far. But maybe we went around. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so the trams, they say come about every 15 minutes. There's 7 stops all around the island.
It's a good way to see it too. Like if you're like, I just want to quickly see the island, hop on a tram.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. The day we did Breezy Bay, we kind of took it there, and then obviously to take it out, we got to kind of see more of the island. So you got that. That's super cool. They have some first come first serve sand wheelchairs. So we tried to get you one when you were crippled that day. We got you it.
I just didn't really need it.
Nah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if someone is in a wheelchair, another, like we said, great option, because most of the island is sand at the end of the day. It's all different beaches around the island.
I mean, this is just so nice for anyone that is wheelchair, like, needing the support of a wheelchair, or you're just needing the extra, like you can't really walk very far distance like I was that day. The tram is excellent for you because it actually like picks up right outside the ship. I mean, you could just jump out your window and you'll be right there on the dock, and that's where the tram picks you up right there. So super convenient for anyone that does have some mobility challenges. I'd recommend just using the tram. There's no harm in that. A lot of families use it. People that walk fine use it just because they're lazy and don't want to walk, which is fine. You're on vacation.
Well, Frank, so like we said at the start, this island has a lot.
I mean, we spent I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but we spent a while talking about everything there is to do. And if you're going to do all of that, it's going to take you'll have to go like 4 to 5 times to see everything. Yeah,
because that's the thing, especially if you're doing things like Thrill Island or Hideaway Beach or Coco Beach Club, you're probably just doing one of those during the stop, and then you may go adventure out and see more of the island. But like we said, when we did Hideaway Beach is kind of already tucked off by itself, so it just didn't make sense to pack up, kind of go see more of the island that day. But
yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying to do more than one. Like if you're going to do the water park and Coco Beach Club, you're just not going to spend enough time in one of those spots to really make it worth it. You're going to feel like you have to move around a lot, right? So try to pick one kind of, if you're going to pay extra for one of the 3 areas, whether it's Hideaway Beach, Coco Beach Club, or Thrill Island with the water park, just pick one. I think that's good for the day. There's a lot of other spots you can hang out at for free in between, right? If you're just trying to see things or get away from the water slides. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I've been once this year.
Yeah.
I've got Icon. I've got 2 more Utopias, I think, that we're going to be booked on. So looking forward to 3 more visits to Coco Cay this year. And honestly, I never get sick of it. Nope. I really don't. It just feels like it's a perfect cruise day. Everything that you want in a cruise, just a beach stop. So really nice. I'd take it over Nassau like 100 times. I would never go to Nassau again if I could just do 2 days at Coco Cay. So we'll see though. We'll see. They're coming out with the new the beach club at Nassau. So we'll see how that pans out in 2025.
Oh yeah. That'll be fun. And then they're also building one in Mexico too, in Cozumel. So
a lot more content coming your way in the podcast and YouTube. And we'll talk more about that as we find out more. So that kind of wraps up this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. And thank you for joining us, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or on YouTube this week. We look forward to bringing you more content throughout the week as well on YouTube and Instagram. Hey, if you're looking to book another cruise with us, you can do that by filling out the jot form. It's in the description of this episode, or you can send us a text at 704-313-8556. We'd love to work with you to get you to Coco Cay. With that, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you back here next Wednesday.